Welcome to London, I'm Martina Fuchs. Young British artist and musical prodigy Jacob Collier is a 12-time Grammy nominee and one of the world's most acclaimed musicians. Here at the studio, he talks to me about his Chinese heritage and upcoming music projects.
Well, I'm terrifically excited. It's a very exciting moment. I've been working towards this song and this album for a long time, many years actually. And this song is called Witness Me, the song that just came out. And Witness Me is a song I started to write in 2021 with my good friend Shawn Mendes, who's a very golden person, you know. And when we met, we talked a lot about how important music can be as a remedy for the world, and how much more powerful music can be when many people do it together and it's about a group rather than being about one person. And all of the initial sparks that caused this song to exist were less about me, and more about we and us. And so Witness Me became this song that's really about seeing each other in the world, togetherness, forgiveness, observation, empathy, you know. And I think there's never been a more important time for these principles in the world than right now. And I think that my hope is that this song really brings to the fore how crucial and how powerful such forces can be when they're used for good. For me, I think one of the best ways I measure kind of my success is how many people I've freed. You know, think about freeing a person from doubt, freeing a person from uncertainty, fear, and some of the systems that prevent people from being creative and prevent people from being their full, most beautiful self. And for me, the most important language and one of my greatest teachers is music. You know, within music, we learn everything there is to know in life. You could argue, you know, we learn about mathematics, we learn about physics, we learn about chemistry, emotions, we learn language, syntax, grammar, spelling, we learn history, we learn geography. But most importantly, we learn about the heart. We learn about each other. And I think music, like any of the most important languages in the world, it moves across borders, through barriers. It opens people up rather than closes people down. And it's the most extraordinary catalyst for people bringing each other together for each other. I spend a lot of time thinking about, you know, why I'm here and what I can offer the world. And, you know, when I perform live concerts, the feeling in the room of, say, 2,000 people, 5,000 people coming together to sing, to dance, to listen to each other, to be, is the most powerful feeling I think I know as a person firsthand. So, you know, I'd like to provide myself with an opportunity to be a free person and a more open person, and to keep on learning. And I think if I keep doing that, then music will just happen. It happens by itself. And I think that the more I can spread my openness and my light with people around me, the more hopefully that, you know, that I can make the difference that I can make in this world, that everybody has to give. Everyone has a light to give. If I can just shine that light in the places that matter, in the ways that feel honest, that's the best I can do. So I've been working on a quadruple album for a few years now, Djesse, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and now Volume 4. It's the big finale of the whole adventure. And the album I made first in my whole life and career was called In My Room. And I made this album by myself in London, not too far from here, my family home. And I did everything in this album by myself. And so with Djesse, one of the main kind of forerunners, one of the main reasons I wanted to create the album was to collaborate. So this album is collaborative and global on an unprecedented scale. And across all the albums, I've worked with orchestras and choirs and rappers and some of the biggest pop stars in the world, but folk fiddlers, pipers, drummers, everything. And it really feels like I've been able to learn from so many of my heroes. Djesse Volume 4 is the culmination of all these forces at play. So Volume 4 is the most collaborative album. It's the most ambitious album I've ever created. It uses and draws from and is inspired by and was co-created alongside musicians from every corner of the world, every continent of the world, from Asia all the way into Africa and all the way into South America, India, people from all over the world. And most fundamentally, last year when I was touring around the whole world, I've been becoming increasingly excited by getting audiences to sing, one of my biggest passions. And I recorded actually the sound of all those audiences singing at the shows. And I used the sounds I recorded in these venues to build a choir for the album, 100,000 voice choir. And the sound of this, I can't describe it. I can't describe it. It's the most human feeling I've ever experienced. It's like a wall of humanity. To me, this idea feels like one of the principles behind this album. I've really worked hard at making sure that I've really dug into all the corners of music that I find fascinating. So for example, there's a song on Djesse Volume 4 where I use drumming ensembles from six different continents, six different parts of the world. Samba moves into Cuban drumming, moves into Dole drumming from India, moves into Peruvian drumming from South America, moves into, what am I missing? Djembe drumming from Africa, and Gnawa from Morocco. So all these drummers, it goes from one to the other seamlessly. And in amongst this, I actually I did this big fan reach out to ask who on the internet would like to contribute different languages. And so I have 22 different languages represented during these 6 continents of drummers. You've got all these different kinds of languages coming on, and all of the languages in their own way are saying, wake up, get up, let's go, let's come together, let's party, let's celebrate, let's make music. And so for me, it just feels like the most fundamental force. Also on this song, obviously that 100,000 voice choir. So it really feels for me like the most global I've ever thought so far as a musician. And working with some of the biggest and most legendary artists in the world, right to some of the most unknown, deep-cut musicians that I find inspiring. To me, everybody is equal as a source of inspiration, and I've worked hard on this album to bring that to light. The world is bigger than ever, and in a sense also smaller than ever, because with the internet and with it being 2023, and the kind of fearlessness that pervades the creative culture right now in certain parts of the world, I think there's an amazing opportunity for all creatives to think in completely new ways about what it means to make work, what it means to share work. And I've always felt quite passionate about the idea of dissolving, for example, the barrier between performer and audience member. You just sit quiet and listen. It's like everyone is playing, everyone is a part of it. So for me, the more I travel the world, the more I learn how much we have in common as people and how simple all the most important things are. You say something like love, connection, trust. These are big words, but they're simple concepts. And I think that there's a lot of noise that ends up surrounding these concepts of politics. People bring in, this is my opinion, this is I think this and that, the other. It's all noise, that the principles are so simple and so core. So I really believe that. And I feel like I could spend time anywhere in the world and learn a lot, whether it's from some of the most evolved and highly technical, digital, parts of the world, right to parts of the world that are untouched by all this kind of civilization. I actually think there's probably more to learn from those cultures than there is to learn from people who are very advanced in terms of forward-thinking technology. But I think I see a world in my mind where all of these forces work together. The wisdom that is the most ancient comes from the deepest places, thousands of generations deep, to the most current cutting-edge AI technology of 2023. I think there is a world where it's all part of the same gesture of humanity to protect each other, to protect the planet that we live on, our one and only planet, and to lift each other up rather than break each other down. I think it's completely possible. It just takes aligning with that as our North Star.